I mean, I think history is important. Skateboard history is pretty cool. I mean, I love Dogtown and like all those stories and all those people, all those skaters that influenced, you know, the way we skate today. And then I just like old skateboards, and they started piling up. I'm like, oh, I gotta do something with them. Yeah, so the Kamikaze, that was, I think my father-in-law found that at a yard sale. It's, you know, early 80s board. And it's kind of, I think it's like kind of came from a toy store in Canada. I think like if you look at the label on the back, that's all in French. And the trucks look like Indies, but they're not actually Indies. But that's a really fun board to ride. Just cruising it around, nice soft wheels. Used to ride around the neighborhood when my kids were little and they were learning to ride bikes. So I'd ride it to like, go get the mail. And yeah, that's a super fun board. Things like 10 inches wide. The Graholski, I can't remember where I got that deck. The wheels are new, old stock, but the trucks came off of a board that someone gave me that they found while they were brush hogging their field. It came in with this board that was just all delaminated and like kind of falling apart. Like, oh, found this in my field, do you want it? It's like, yeah, it's got Indies on it, sure, I'll take it. This cab, actually, I had a cab like that back in the 80s, so it was kind of cool to score this one. Some kid was out in the park skating it, and I was all hyped on it. And I was like, dude, that board's sick. And he was all bummed on it, like, oh. It was like, my mom found it at a yard sale for like $3. It's the only skateboard she'd buy me. She's like, oh, you want to trade for a modern skateboard? He's like, yeah. So I let him trade. I traded that for a rental board. And then this one, this guy was living up here. He found that at a yard sale at the end of his street. And that board's sick. I think that's like it's probably a 78 or something. That board's awesome. And then this one, this Pierre Wellander, this was my daughter's friend's board. He was skating it. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? I'm like, no, it's just a board we got at the dump. Like, no, you can't skate that. So gave him a board to use and then we put that one on the wall. Original Indy 109s on it, that board's awesome. So all the boards like on this wall, this is all sort of chronological order, the best that we could kind of decipher. These right here, these were Hannah's uncle's roller skates, which is kind of like the first skateboard. You just take your sister's roller skates, break them in half, and screw them to a board, boom, you got a skateboard. And then this one's kind of a DIY board. This is some kid probably cut that out with a, you know, a hacksaw. It's got a 2x4 riser in the front and a pine riser in the back. It actually has clay wheels. So yeah, that's a pretty old board. A parent who was really into estate sales, Dean Moline, grabbed that for us at an estate sale. I love the DIY graphics on it too. This is a steel wheel board. I think this is a Nash. Yeah, it's a Nash Shark. That one came from Austin, Texas. My father-in-law got that at a silent auction, I think. And then Excalibur, probably a generic board, but kind of like a Fiberflex-ish. That board's pretty fun to ride. I think that came from a yard sale. This board, this Bane, this dude used to come and skate at my house, and he was deaf, and it was really hard to communicate with him. You know, we didn't know sign language. He could kind of read lips, but he used to come over and skate. Super nice guy. And we hadn't seen him for a while, and one day we get like a knock on the door. This dude's standing there with like a box of skateboard stuff. And he's like, you guys don't know me, but my brother Brad used to come over here and skate. And he was always super appreciative. You guys let him ride your ramp, and used to love coming and hanging out with you guys. And I think he'd want you to have all his old skateboard stuff. So I got that Bane out of that box to kind of remember him by. I think what is this one? I forget now. Yeah, that's a Fiberflex, ACS Trucks. That was donated by a kid who started skating when we first opened. And I think that's a yard sale find, or someone found it in their garage and gave it to us. This board's really cool. It's an aluminum deck, California slalom. Googled it a bunch, never really found out much about that. It wasn't a really popular thing, but that was a really fun board to ride. I think I traded a Talent deck for that, you know, with a kid who lived around the corner.
You use Talent decks as currency?
Oh, absolutely. Another one I think either came from someone's garage or a yard sale, another garage or a yard sale. You know, most of these are all like mid-70s. You know, they got urethane wheels, so they're at least after 75, 72, 75. I forget when the urethane wheel was invented. We do have a bunch of brand new, like, you know, mid-80s boards. These all came from when skateboards changed in the early 90s. Skateboard distributors just got stuck with warehouses full of old boards that nobody wanted. And kind of when we first opened, it was just barely before eBay and before like there was this whole collector craze. And I pretty much bought one of every board that they had left because they were still giving them away at that point. A couple years later, they're like, you know, 150 bucks on eBay. This Klaus Grautke, this kid brought it in. He's like, oh, this is my brother's. I need some hardware for it. And I'm like, all right, let's put hardware. He's like, well, I gotta go. I can't stay. Like, I'll come back pick it up tomorrow. Still waiting for him to come and get it. I think I traded a Talent deck for this one. It's another one I traded a Talent deck for. My cousin had that board back in the day. That one was kind of cool. A couple more, a couple signed by Tony Alva. Tony Alva came up and did an event with JDK back in, what was that, 2004 maybe? And he signed a bunch of our stuff. He actually signed this as well. This one is Fred Smith. Fred Smith's awesome. He, you know, he was a New England pro. He's from Rhode Island. So growing up in Massachusetts, he was like someone we always looked up to. He actually came to my friend's house and skated his ramp in my town. I was like driving to like my grandmother's house and I see this van, kind of sketchy looking van. I see this dude with like huge dreadlocks and I'm like, nah, it can't be. And I pull up and he's kind of like in the middle of the road. They're all like looking around. I'm like, what's up? And they're like, hey, you know where there's a ramp around here? And it was totally Fred Smith. I'm like, yep, right down there. And I didn't go to my grandma's house. I went and watched him skate. Here's a Chris Miller. Actually, Chris Miller was my first pro board that I ever bought brand new. You know, back in the 80s, it was kind of hard to get skateboards, so you just swap them, inherit them. But I ordered one from California. It wasn't this exact model, but here's another one that I traded a Talent deck for. This one, this is a Vallely Barnyard, an original Vallely Barnyard. It's the first board that was kind of a double kick. You know, basically had two tails on it, which was kind of revolutionary for the time. That belonged to Sam LaFramboise, who was a kid who grew up skating here, he was killed in a car accident. So I'm really kind of glad I have that, kind of way to remember him by. Again, I think I traded my Talent deck for that board. And this one, this is somebody just got a new board and they left their old board behind. I was kind of going through, you know, people do that a lot, and I was going through, I'm like, well, this is like the first issue of a Zoo York board. Some of the first ones I ever did, like the nose is actually hand painted with Krylon. So that, you know, from probably 92, 93, something like that. And then when Ricky came and did it, he came here for a traffic demo, we had him sign it, but he used a crappy marker and it's faded over the years. I think it's just kind of cool to show the evolution of skateboards and all the different things that people have ridden over the years. I mean, look at this picture of Tony Alva. You know, dude's doing a frontside air out of a pool, which we take for granted. Everyone can do a frontside air out of a pool now, but he's basically doing it on this, you know? Take that thing for a ride, and that's a lot different than the board that, you know, boards we ride today.